We hear a lot these days about technical and vocational training. If you're like most people, you think it's something for the kid next door, right? Your sons and daughters are going to have a PhD or an MA or at the very least a BA when they graduate, right? You'd be amazed at the number of people who think like that. Technical training, they say. Vocational training, they say. That's for the kid who isn't smart enough to go to university or can't afford it. We ran into that kind of thinking very recently. Let me tell you how it happened. Frank and I were getting ready to take our show on a national tour of Canada. I was sitting at the piano, polishing a song. Frank was studying his lines, and our assistant stage manager was in the corner having some sort of an argument with his wife.
No!
Guess we got a couple of critics out there. Hey, George, what's the matter? Don't you like the song?
I'm sorry, John. It's Alice. She wants me to sign away my son's future. She wants me to have him committed to some kind of technical school.
That happens to be an application for one of the best technical institutes in this country.
Alice, just because some idiot counselor at school told the boy he should forget about getting a college degree,
the counselor recommended a technical training course because that's where the boy's interest lies.
I don't care about...
Peace, George. What's your objection to technical schools?
You can't get anywhere in life today without a degree. The day is coming when you won't even get a job as a doorman.
Now, wait a minute, George. I hear the federal government and the provinces are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these new technical and vocational schools. There must be a reason.
There is a reason. They want to have a place to send all the academic rejects. Any kid who can afford it should go to university.
Johnny, can't you talk some sense into this man?
I'm sorry, Alice. I got enough trouble being a comedian.
Look, George, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're starting our Canadian tour next week, right?
Right.
Okay, now, while you're setting up the show in each city, Johnny and I will visit some of these technical schools, and we'll report back to you. Now, what do you say?
Well, okay. You satisfied, Alice?
Thank you, Frank. And thank you, Johnny.
That's all right, Alice. It'll be the fulfillment of a lifetime's ambition. You know, ever since I was a little boy, I've always had this dream of someday visiting all the technical and vocational schools in Canada. Well, that's how it started. Frank and I visited institutes all over Canada, of which the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology in Edmonton is typical. This magnificent campus contains 155 shops and laboratories and 101 classrooms covering 19 acres.
Many of Canada's institutes of technology operate more than 18 hours a day to accommodate the thousands of students who register.
Most of the schools are occupied before the paint is dry on the walls. This is a class in instrumentation technology, which trains young people in a field of key importance in a world of work that is being altered drastically by automation.
Closed-circuit television gives every student an unobstructed view of what's taking place. The instrument technician, sometimes called an automation technician, is really a doctor whose patients are the fantastic machines which have revolutionized industry.
Of course, a machine doctor has a big advantage over a medical doctor. He doesn't have to maintain a jazzy office with an unlimited supply of old magazines.
Here we are in exploration technology, a course that will provide the men who locate and develop new mineral deposits upon which the economy of our country is dependent.
In the old days, a prospector went out into the wilderness, a pick here, a pick there, and a great deal of shoveling and walking in between.
The graduate of this course has a wide range of employment opportunities, particularly in the petroleum or mining industries. In this technologically dramatic world, he is equipped with a scientific knowledge of the Earth's crust and the ability to translate that knowledge into increased productivity and improved living standards throughout the world. He may be more interested in the engineering problems associated with a new hydro dam site than in finding gold or silver.
Well, you're sure of finding some gold here. Dental assistants, mechanics, and technicians are trained in Canada's institutes. They receive the basic technical knowledge, manual skills, and clinical experience essential in their field.
These students are educated and trained to be competent in all aspects of lab procedures. He or she is the person who can construct full or partial dentures and do intricate crown and bridge work.
In addition to courses in the technologies, the Institutes of Canada give classroom training to thousands of apprentices every year. They use the modern facilities of the schools to good advantage, often at night. There is much practical work, too, in learning how to handle the big machines that shape and reshape our countryside.
The building trades are well served by institutes and vocational centers across the country. Carpenters, welders, roofers, air conditioning and refrigeration men, plumbers, plasterers, and the rest are trained in the latest techniques.
The variety of courses taught in institutes of technology is staggering.
At the Alberta School of Art in Calgary, there are 5 separate art courses, each calling for 4 years training.
Under excellent instructors, artists with international reputations.
Commercial art as well as fine art is taught. This course at the Vancouver School is typical of several across the country.
The fine arts courses are very thorough. For example, in Calgary, the students are taught, among other things, the human bone structure and anatomy. I don't know why this student is drawing us. It must be some sort of a detention. The equipment in these schools is the most modern available, including this strange-looking aircraft. Since time began, man has dreamed of strapping wings on his shoulders and flying under his own power.
Now, through modern technology, the dream may be coming true. This machine, called the turtle jet, actually can be pedaled aloft by a man. Though I don't think Johnny's gonna make it.
2 former students at the Southern Alberta Institute built this, and it is part of the intriguing display of aircraft there.
In addition to engineering technicians, schools like this turn out engine specialists and airframe mechanics.
The technician in this field is part of the team that will develop radical new aircraft that will travel high above the earth at speeds so fast that a man may meet himself on the way back while he's still going.
One of the things that impressed me on our tour of these schools was the way courses are set up to suit the particular industrial needs of a region. Both here in Calgary and in Edmonton, they have courses in petroleum technology. The oil industry uses large numbers of highly trained technicians.
Oil men have a reputation for paying well, too.
Why not?
That's a gas.
And in Newfoundland, where products of the sea mean so much to the economy, technical and vocational courses are oriented in this direction.
Fish processing is a technology in Newfoundland. New and better methods of marketing are developed through continuous research. In fact, the principal of the College of Fisheries in St. John's was the inventor of fish sticks.
Nautical sciences like navigation, marine engineering, and electronics are studied intensively along with new methods of catching fish. Nowadays, when fishermen drop a line or spread their nets, they know in advance the fish are there.
How about that? Electronics for catching fish. But this is typical of the technological revolution taking place in our world. In every province and territory of Canada, modern electronics are an essential part of the curriculum at technical institutes and vocational centers. This class at Edmonton is typical of others you'll find in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Manitoba, everywhere.
John, let's not leave the impression that nautical science and improved fishing techniques are the only things a Newfoundland student can learn at an institute.
Right. Here in the College of Trades and Technology, also in St. John's, there are courses in forestry, mining, medical and X-ray technologies, architecture, and electronics. Students in Canada's newest province can take their pick.
Meanwhile, back at the other side of the continent, young men acquire the skills to operate the giant machines that cut roads to the vast resources of British Columbia. This is a vocational course at the Nanaimo School and in many schools throughout the country. Heavy equipment operators need to know all they can about these Goliaths. Nanaimo also operates a unique program in logging methods peculiar to the land of the giant Douglas fir.
You know, logging operations with these huge trees are full of lethal booby traps for untrained people.
Right, and safety training is emphasized in the courses here.
This isn't the only course we saw connected with the forest industries.
Oh, you're thinking of the paper-making plant at Three Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Young men of La Belle Province are getting into one of Canada's most important industries when they enroll at this institute. Why, the annual payroll in paper-making for Quebec alone exceeds $60 million.
And that's a lot of dollars. They were making pink writing paper the day we looked in.
Looks like cottage cheese.
Now it looks like pink cottage cheese.
The colored pulp is practically a liquid when it reaches the paper-making machine.
Oh, isn't that something?
Graduates from this course are in great demand for good jobs.
And that was the story everywhere. Employers standing in line for graduates of technical institutes and trade schools.
Or vocational schools, as they're known today.
Everywhere in Canada, beautiful modern schools have been built to meet the ever-increasing need for technicians and skilled tradesmen. The federal-provincial cooperation in the field of technical and vocational education is designed to fill the tremendous demand from Canadian industry for trained manpower.
I was impressed with the way industry and business are playing an active role in seeing that courses really equip students to take jobs when they graduate.
This is becoming a pattern across the country. At the BC Institute and the Vocational School in Burnaby, a total of 40 separate advisory committees made up of business and industrial experts, educators, and trade union officers assist in planning the curriculum.
These committees are designed to keep educators from retiring into sheepskin towers. No course goes into the vocational school or institute until an effective curriculum has been worked out.
I wonder if all employers know that they can work with schools to ensure the curriculum has a practical application in the world of business.
They can even test football helmets for safety.
Not that testing football helmets is a prime function of the materials testing labs at our institutes.
They can test the strength of a human hair, or locate flaws in the materials that go into everyday products.
This football helmet test, or one similar to it, probably saves hundreds of lives. For example, Russ Jackson, the great quarterback of the Ottawa Rough Riders, once played an entire half and couldn't remember a thing about it afterwards. He had been kicked in the head, and without that helmet to protect him, he might have suffered permanent damage.
Isn't that Jackson great?
Don't talk to me. I'm an Argo fan.
There are heroes in other fields besides football. Medical lab technicians and radiographers have an honored place on the diagnostic team at major hospitals. They perform many scientific tests on which pathologists and doctors base their diagnoses.
Graduates of these courses in Canadian Institutes of Technology can work anywhere in the country. Close cooperation between the Canadian Medical Association and educators make these among the best courses in the world.
I think you could safely say the same thing about all courses in the Institutes of Canada. And some of them are at Ryerson Polytechnical Institute in Toronto.
Ryerson, established in 1948 and named for a pioneer educator who founded Ontario's first normal school on this site in 1847.
The Institute took over 3 old buildings on 7 acres and expanded into the beautiful modern school it is today.
Ryerson is among the most respected institutes of technology in North America.
And some of their courses are unique in Canada.
Their radio and television course, for instance, is outstanding. Technological students do everything, including performing, whether they have that performing talent or not. It's all part of knowing their medium.
Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land when I'm out. No more in that land, no more.
The Institute operates a complete radio station, too, with a full schedule of talks, interviews, concerts, music, and plays. Talk about practical experience. Technicians, cameramen, announcers, actors, singers, and producers who are taught at Ryerson are ready to go to work when they graduate.
Experienced instructors evaluate productions, and they're brutally frank with the kids.
Qui nous mène, c'est l'aviron qui nous mène en rond. M'en revenant de la jolie Rochelle, m'en revenant de la jolie Rochelle, j'ai rencontré 3 jolies demoiselles. C'est l'aviron qui nous mène.
The students come from all over Canada for this course. This kid is good.
De son père et de sa mère, à la santé. De son père et de sa mère, à la santé de celui que son cœur aime. C'est l'aviron qui nous mène, qui nous mène. C'est l'aviron qui nous mène en rond. C'est l'aviron qui nous mène, qui nous mène. C'est l'aviron qui nous mène en rond.
Ryerson is the only institute in Canada offering a complete course in nursing. It's tied in effectively with hospitals of the city, and the student nurses receive practical and formal education both at the school and in real hospitals.
The home economics course at Ryerson includes a preschool education option with a complete nursery school for students to work with the children.
How do you like that, John?
We never had it so good, even at college.
Ryerson is so big and has such a variety of courses, it's hard to describe them all. They graduate about 900 students each year in 25 different courses. There's chemical technology, financial management.
They do lots of homework.
Secretarial science that turns out those priceless executive secretaries, and so many others.
You name it, they've got it. There's training in many areas where Canada once had to look abroad for expert skills, and the preparation of food was one of them. Now, in many schools, this one at Burnaby among them, the culinary arts are being passed down to young Canadians by the finest chefs in the world.
The Burnaby School now makes a habit of carrying off first place in continental competitions with beautiful buffets like this.
And everything tastes as good as it looks. Business administration courses like this one at the Eastern Ontario Institute of Technology in Ottawa are available in most provinces now.
They could be called the practical equivalent of the Bachelor of Commerce degree. And these 3-year courses are training future executives of business and industry. The course covers psychology, commercial and business law, political science, economic development, industrial and personnel relations, political and economic geography, automation, marketing, science, financial management, and business procedures.
At the Ontario Vocational Centre in Ottawa, a unique course has been set up to train future newspaper reporters. The graduates are snapped up, particularly by dailies and weeklies in smaller centers. Now, there's the kind of city editor any red-blooded newspaper man would like to have.
Speaking of unique courses, let's not forget the haute couture course in Montreal.
Well, who could forget such lovely French-Canadian girls? Incidentally, through courses like this, Montreal is rapidly achieving a reputation for quality designing and high fashion for women.
What's this, a girl in welding?
This, Frank, is a course in interior decorating at the Montreal Institute of Applied Arts. These student interior decorators are learning about wrought iron, and they'll know all there is to know about decorative ironwork when they recommend it as one of the touches that make a house a home.
That's the way it is with all technologies. The graduate knows his or her subject from the ground up, inside and out, backwards and across. Being able to make wrought iron doodads, railings, and the like isn't the kind of things these young ladies will necessarily be doing, but they'll know what it involves and be able to recognize quality workmanship.
I've noticed there are very few men in this class. You'd think there might be more.
Well, one of the instructors told me very few boys take the course because their hands get too dirty.
Original designs for textiles is something both boys and girls enjoy in the Textiles Institute at St. Hyacinthe. Quebec, by the way, has more technical institutes than any other province, 11 to be exact, with many of them highly specialized like this one.
They have a fully equipped plant for weaving cloth and perform every step of the process from design to finished product.
This is a complete water filtration plant that instructs young people in purification of water for drinking. This school could supply a good-sized city with pure water.
Besides 11 technical institutes, Quebec leads all other provinces in trade schools or vocational institutes. They have a total of 40 spread throughout the province.
One of the first impressions you get when exploring one of these new institutes of technology or vocational centers is the way everyone goes about their work. Not just the faculty, but the students themselves. Their whole manner seems to say, we mean business here.
Some of their equipment is beautiful, too.
Now you're talking.
Watch it, John. I mean, some of the courses require thousands of dollars worth of machines, which they learn to use and maintain.
It wouldn't be fair, Frank, to leave the impression that these schools only use complex equipment.
A technician uses a simple thing like a pencil.
And an eraser.
Oh, yes, and a slide rule.
And a handkerchief.
Be serious, Johnny.
And a whole pile of books.
Johnny?
And a girl.
All right, that's enough, John.
Well, come on. A girl's a pretty complex subject, particularly one studying in an institute of technology.
All right, wise guy, you know so much about it. You tell me about technical training.
If you like. There are more than 200 institutes of technology or vocational centers in various parts of Canada. 200. Most of which were built through federal government contributions in the past few years. There are more than 100,000 students taking technician or skilled occupational training. That's an increase of 100% in the past 5 years. In other words, it's doubled.
Hey, Johnny, you amaze me. I didn't see you taking any notes.
I didn't.
Well, where did you get the information?
From the fellow that showed us the film, George. Hey, George, technical training may be for you.
You sold me.
What did you just say?
Technical training may be for you.
Hey, that's very good.
You like it?
Yeah,
It's yours.
thank you.
Technical training may be for you.